So I like to do something fun for our guests. And you said on the show on Wednesday that music is always first for you. And I know you well enough to know that that is actually your true love, even
Mhm.
over sports, probably because it hurts you less. So I wanted to ask you a quick question. I wanted you to give me your favorite moments when your worlds collided and music and sports intersected in some way. If you want to do it win, play, show style to make Damashek happy, then go ahead.
Sure thing. That's a phenomenal question by you, and you're right. I do love sports, but music it never really lets you down. That's definitely true. So, to reverse order my show bet here, all three of these involve Pearl Jam. I wasn't trying to do that. Trust me, I like a lot of other bands. I love a lot of other bands, but they have the weird kind of connection to sports through their music. Obviously, we watched The Last Dance. The Last Dance ended with a song of theirs, and just their history. They used to be called Mookie Blaylock for the NBA player in the Nets at the time. So there's a lot of intersection there. They love sports. Ed loves sports, and everyone in the band loves sports. So I'm going to give ones that I was involved with in person instead of stuff I saw from afar. And my show bet or show memory was in 2018. I was lucky enough to go to Seattle to see them. They're playing the home shows, but instead of being in an arena, and I know you could say this about most concerts or in arenas, this was in the Mariners ballpark, which had a different feel to it. The posters and the merchandise they sold was kind of themed into the sports way. A lot of stories about Randy Johnson on stage. So that was a really cool experience to see them play twice in the park. I know it used to be called Safeco. I'm forgetting what the park was called in 2018. I don't think it was Safeco anymore, but an amazing venue for a concert. And that was a lot of fun. Seattle's a fantastic city, which, by the way, is an underrated sports town. Like I showed up there and I was like not expecting people to be super heavy into sports. You saw the Seahawks 12 flags every 5 feet you're walking.
Ooh.
Everyone's in gear there. And I went back recently with the Kraken. It's taken off. So that's also a little PSA. Get to Seattle if you want to watch some sporting events. It's a great town. My place is back to a ballpark, this time in 2016. Fenway Park, where I went to college in Boston, and Pearl Jam was playing there again 2 nights. Um, Bronson Arroyo came out, the former pitcher. So this is really intertwined. The former pitcher for the Red Sox and a few other teams. He apparently is a musician as well, and he has like records. And he does a lot of covers of like that early '90s like Seattle scene music. And he played with Pearl Jam on Black. And there was also a part two where I believe Eddie Vedder was talking about his ukulele, and he calls it uke the ook for Kevin
Mm.
Youkilis. So a lot of fun stuff there, and the same kind of thing. Like just obviously a great venue, a place I've been to many times, but like the sports themed merchandise, the posters, I have a bunch hanging in my house, and that was an awesome time. And then my win is got to be 2009 Yankees Phillies World Series. They're playing in Philadelphia. Pearl Jam was actually closing down the old Philadelphia Spectrum. They're playing 4 shows. Went to those, and they are right across the street in Philly. If you've ever been there, they have all their stadiums kind of in the same spot. So Citizens Bank Park, where the game was going on, was very close to where the Spectrum was, and they did a cool thing where they would bring out like these like almost in boxing they have like ring girls with like the scorecard. They did this like very old timey like 20s 30s like huge headdresses, and they had the score of the Phillies Yankees game. And of course Ed was kind of pandering and saying that he's rooting for the home team, he's rooting for the Phillies. Spoiler alert, the Yankees won that. And I was also I guess an idiot. I was only I think it was a senior. I was like only like a month into my senior year in high school, and I was wearing all my Yankees gear to the concerts, and everyone that had the chance to scream at me was yelling at me at that. A lot those Phillies fans are passionate. Women, like younger women, were like cursing at me out in the parking lot and stuff. I remember being taking a bathroom break, and guys were like, "We should just like piss on this kid." So that was very interesting. And the Yankees won the World Series, and those shows were absolutely incredible. All different songs every single night. So it was that was by far one of my best memories. Not only seeing my favorite band and incredible concerts that fans still talk about to this day, but also seeing the Yankees win the World Series. And I was like, only a couple hundred yards away from where they were winning. So that was really
Yeah.
cool, and I've been lucky to experience all those.
Yeah. Everybody in life, like you heard my message about positivity on Wednesday, try to find something in your entire life that makes you smile as much as Pearl Jam does that to Eddie. Like watching him on the video right now, my heart is even lighting up just because he's so happy talking about it. And the fact that his favorite 3 moments all involve his favorite band, I guess, isn't a surprise because the question is favorite, not best. I I was bored as hell in that game last night while I was losing money, and I couldn't find a way to stop because that game sucks so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a bunch of notes on my phone, Eddie. So just running through it real quick. Mine's not quite as personal as yours, but I have a bunch of runner-ups because that's how bad that game was. I'll go with Lonely Island, the unauthorized Bash Brothers experience, because the pop star it's probably not my favorite movie, my favorite comedy
Mm-hmm.
of the last 10 years, and watching them follow that up with this off the rails story of Canseco and Maguire just really killed me. The September Sessions, which is a Jack Johnson surf film, is kind of like my version of meditation. I turn it on once a month just to kind of calm me down and make me feel better. Our big boss, Peyton Manning, playing air guitar on his leg while dancing in a Saturday Night Live sketch is an all-timer. As a teenager, hearing Wu-Tang and the song Triumph by saying guaranteed to make him jump like Rod Strickland, as somebody who loved watching Rod Strickland and the Bullets and hearing him from my favorite rap group, that was particularly awesome. Of course, you got to give a shout out to the Super Bowl Shuffle. It deserves to be on any list. The U.S. swim team doing a video to Call Me Maybe in the 2012 Olympics really was like a pop culture moment, because it was like YouTube was taking off. This pop song was in there. These guys were all like kids in their 20s acting goofy, and then they're about to go out and represent our country. So enjoyed that. And then just two classics. Anytime you see One Shining Moment, that's got to be on any list that comes between the intersections of music and
Yep.
sports. And then Sweet Georgia Brown. Every time I hear it, I don't think of anything but besides like tricky dribbles, behind the back passes, and kids smiling in the stands. And so that's a song that has heavy sports ties for me. But win, play, show, you curious? Or is that whole list too long?
I want to hear one play show, but I thought something just popped in my head that I realized we're gonna both omit the most, like the clear cut number one, but I'd like to hear yours.
Okay. You're right, because there's no way mine is the most clear cut. And by the way, this is favorite Eddie, not best. So if we're
True,
talking
true,
Whitney,
true, true.
if we're talking Whitney Houston, or we're talking Marvin Gaye and the national anthem, then that obviously is probably gonna be at the best list, but this is a favorite list.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the show is a 1,061 place tie, and it's every single time the U.S. has ever won gold medal at the Olympics and they play our national anthem. Every
Mm-hmm.
single time it gets me. Every single time there's just something about watching the athlete crest and peak at like the greatest moment of their life, combined with hearing their national anthem for this one thing that ties us together as a country. Particularly, I will admit, getting extra teared up when it's on foreign soil and things like that, hearing the national anthem and seeing respect paid to our great country around the globe. My favorite moment of the Olympics. I mean, obviously the athletic achievements are amazing, but I love that gold medal ceremony, and we have
Sure.
done it 1,061 times. For place, I will double down on your live experience, which is just anytime you get to sing a home crowd's anthem with the crowd, particularly in games that you care about. So like growing up as a kid, singing Hail to the Redskins every time they scored. Both I do it in my living room and do it at RFK. I went to the University of Virginia. Every time they score a touchdown, you link arms with the person next to you. You put your arms around them and you sing the good old song, which is probably like my kids have heard the good old song more than any other song, because it was the only song I actually knew by heart when I had children. So I used to sing that to them as a lullaby, and now hopefully one of them will end up wearing the blue and orange. And then at Chelsea, there's a song called Liquidator they walk out for, and they do a big chant. So there's just something about the collective joy of like good singer, bad singer, it doesn't matter, but sharing that moment with your fellow man and belting it out is truly special. And then win is something I'm bet you've never seen, Eddie, but I demand that you go watch this the moment we hang up. It is the Dire Straits Walk of Life video. Have you ever seen it?
No, I like Dire Straits, but no, I don't think I've watched the video.
Okay, the moment the show is over, I will withhold your check if you don't go and watch it.
Okay.
It is a music video from the 1980s. It is a great song, very positive, very joyful. But the video they put out on MTV, which I also don't know if you ever watched, was just full of sports highlights. So imagine that you're, like a 6-year-old Toby, and the things you care about are music and sports, and it's the 1980s. And there's a video that comes on like once every 6 hours that has sports bloopers and has Michael Jordan dunking, and it has like these guys like playing guitars and in these terrible suits, and it's an awesome song and things like that. If you had to have a time capsule of my childhood, you can only put one thing in it to capture all the things that I really loved. It would probably be the Dire Straits Walk of Life video. Please go check it out.
Well, I mean, Mark Knopfler's the man, so definitely have to do that. I wasn't aware that they had a video that it was full of sports, so I writing that down. I'm gonna go definitely do that. The one we did omit, and it happened last night, and it's happened a few times. I mean, this is gonna change the intersection of sports and music forever, but it has to be the Taylor Swift Travis Kelsey thing,
Uh,
right? Like that's
yeah.
like I mean, I know you said this is favorite, and that's definitely not my favorite, but I feel like now, like anytime this conversation comes up, it's like, oh yeah, it's Taylor Swift, the number one most famous person, ever. And then it's with the Chiefs and Travis Kelsey, although maybe she will dump him or not watch football again because that game last night was pretty brutal. But fantastic list, Toby. That's great. I'm gonna watch the Dire Straits video.
That would be pretty amazing if that game last night was so bad she never came back. Like it just ruined football for
Yeah.
millions of people who are tuning in just because Taylor Swift is in the audience, and they get subjected to that like absolute masterclass of misery, 19-8 of crap.
I mean, I think I said it. Like the Broncos are very, very close to becoming like a team that just implodes and sells off parts. It seems like they're kind of already doing that. The Chiefs, I did expect better. I mean, a win's a win. I hate to poo-poo a win, but I mean that game set back football for about 2 centuries.